Yeah, I don't, and I'm getting takeout, which is
Yeah.
basically all I'm doing unless
Right.
I'm at Trio.
Right.
I just forego the French fries.
Yeah.
Not worth it. Where are your favorite French fries? Or a couple of places that make it, because not all French fries are created equally.
They're absolutely not all created equal. I'm fond of truffle fries.
Me too.
My favorite French fry place, and this is gonna sound petty, was David Burgers. But then he ran against me, so I hadn't had any.
Oh, see, you like the truffle fries at like the pantry?
Yes. Yes. So
You know who else's fries I really like? A totally different kind, but the faded roast, it's a hand cut.
Oh yeah,
big
absolutely
one.
love the hand cut. And that's why I was a big fan of David. And then they used to give you the unlimited, and with it being my favorite food, it's
Unlimited favorite food.
yeah. I mean, obviously they have to be my favorite place, right?
Yeah.
But I told myself, I said, well, we're competitors now. I can't help them run against me. So I hadn't been to David Burgers. But that's where I get those are my favorite fries. Is that okay, by the doctor? What's that?
French fries.
My favorite food.
Now call this meeting back to order and report back on our executive session with dealing with boards and commissions, starting first with Land Bank. Jeremy Hill, Kimberly Lee, and Demetrius Baker. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Moving to Little Rock Sustainability Commission, Andrew Jester, Michael Nichols, Wesley Pruitt, Heather Browning, Kate Fletcher. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Moving to Zoo Board of Governors, Gabrielle Mallard, Owens. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Moving to Sister Cities Commission, Brandon Morris, Linka Horakova, and Edward Haddock. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Moving to Parks, Matt Bowie, Samuel Ellis, Michael Nichols, Ren Bresnick, Alexandria Washington, Kenneth Taylor, Lauren Eldridge. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Ayes have it. Before we conclude today's official board meeting and then for adjournment, and then we will transition to our agenda meeting. Well, actually, we don't have any citizens communication, but we do have one acknowledgement that we want to share. But before we share that particular acknowledgement, I want to take some time to just publicly state to the men and women of the Little Rock Public Works team, Little Rock Police Department, Little Rock Fire Department, Housing and Neighborhood Programs, as well as Information Technology, who worked around the clock and nonstop during a historic snowstorm that this city has not seen in any recent or distant memory. And just to commend those teams, as well as members of this board that worked around the clock as well with different organizations to ensure that we weathered this historic winter storm together. And we're grateful that we see the sun at 60 degrees when this time last week it was at the lowest 1 degree. But it's because of a a village and a team that we all work together to get over that particular challenging time. We also share our positive thoughts and prayers with the residents of the state of Texas as well as the state of Louisiana, who are also recovering from a very historic winter storm that experienced boil order watches as well as rolling outages. And we also take this time in our very home to the residents in the cities of Benton and Pine Bluff who are dealing with some historic water issues themselves. And we share those positive thoughts and prayers with all of them. Madam Clerk.
Yes, we received a communication from Central Arkansas Water CEO Tad Bohannon. He said, Central Arkansas Water wants to thank Little Rock for your outstanding cooperation during this past week's unprecedented snowstorm that enabled Central Arkansas Water to keep everyone provided with water service. From police and fire employees to the mayor's office, the Little Rock team played a big role. You all helped us find broken water mains and ruptured fire services flooding vacant buildings that were putting a strain on the water distribution and treatment systems. When you could have said, "It's not my problem," you instead dug in and supported Central Arkansas Water's team in locating the leaks. Thanks to the teamwork, Central Arkansas Water did not lose pressure anywhere in the system. An example, Little Rock police officers called throughout the night and until the early hours of the morning reporting main breaks they had found during patrols. Public work crews ensured that the route to our treatment plant was accessible to operators throughout the storm. Fire department employees assisted in turning off numerous commercial fire services that were draining water from the system. Everyone was working together, and by doing so, we avoided the headlines of Texas and other Arkansas communities. We cannot thank the Little Rock team enough for their role in keeping water service provided. We will provide a more complete report at a later date, but we wanted to reach out now to thank you for your teamwork.
Mr. Tad Bohannon, we do appreciate that acknowledgement, but also on behalf of the city, we appreciate you and Central Arkansas Water and all of your help. It truly is a team effort. You all stayed on the ready in addressing concerns as quickly as possible on a number of different fronts, and we are very grateful. And again, we share our appreciation with the men and women of the Little Rock Public Works Department, Housing and Neighborhood Programs, Fleet, as well as Little Rock Police Department, Little Rock Fire Department, and Information Technology and Housing Neighborhood Programs. Director Wright?
Mine is on the agenda.
Well, we'll
Move to adjourn.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. This current board meeting is adjourned. We'll now move into our agenda meeting.
Oh, my God.
Are there any questions on items 1 through 7, Director Wright?
Yes. Item 1 through 5 and also 6.
You want all 1 through 5?
Yeah, they all seem to be related there or under one department. And then item 6, I have a question for Mr. Moore.
All right. Director Howard, if you will come before.
Is this a new construction home that you're building?
No, ma'am. This is a homeowner reconstruct. Actually, the property came from 1021 Van Buren. This property was placed onto 705 Apperson, and we plan to rehab it and provide it to the homeowner at 705 Apperson. She will purchase the home after it has been rehabbed. So this property is being rehabbed.
So
And
you
the best thing that we thought.
moved the house from one location to another.
That's correct. And the house was actually the city of Little Rock. It was a free house that we had. Actually, it was going to be torn down by Parks. And this lady that we had at 705 Apperson, her property was in disarray, was completely in bad condition. We actually condemned the structure and demolished it. And so she stated that she would like to purchase that home. So we provided the information to her to apply to get assistance. And we're doing this under Home Investment Partnership Program.
And then she will take out a mortgage to purchase.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And 2?
2 is the transfer of the title to property at 2308 South Martin Street this is a land bank property to Katrina Smith to be used for neighborhood revitalization.
It says the property is 560 square feet.
Yes, it's a small property. We purchased it for $3,000 back when we were working on the Love Neighborhood Revitalization Program.
Okay, and she's gonna rehab it after you transfer it.
She's either going to rehab it or demolish the structure and build a new structure there.
Okay. And then 3,
3 is the same thing. It's a land bank property. It's being transferred to Tanya Griffin at 2017 South Maple Street. We purchased this property through the Love Neighborhood Revitalization Program, and it's a land bank property that'll be transferred to her.
and 4,
She's- Number 4, it's transfer title to properties located at 2613 Abigail Street, 4021 West 23rd Street, 4624 West 23rd, 4301 West 25th Street, and 5118 West 31st Street. And these properties will be transferred to the University District Development District Corporation, and they'll be used for new constructions. We're using home funds that we provided you all passed back a few months ago, total funds to be used under Home Investment Partnerships Program to build new constructions.
are these within the University District, Abigail?
Yes, this is part of the Midtown area.
Okay.
Mhm.
And 5,
Number 5, this property is being donated to the city of Little Rock. It's a duplex at 3104 West 14th Street. And the appraised value by the assessor's office is $7,500.
okay. All right, that's it for that, Mayor. On number 6, Mr. Moore, I understand that these are for our vehicles. What vehicles?
These are mainly our public safety vehicles, Director Wright. These are.
Police car?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, items 1 through 7? Are there any questions for items 8 and 9? Director Phillips?
Yes, and that's kind of a general question related to number 8 and 9 and probably directed to our city manager, Bruce Moore. But for my information and maybe some of the information of some of our attendees and those watching online, can you explain the process for us once a property is condemned and then raised and removed? What happens with the property at that point? Just kind of educate us on that process, if you will.
Sure. Once the board condemns the property, we would then put out a bid, and it usually takes 30 to 45 days. These are both commercial properties. Usually they're residential properties, but these are both commercial properties. And I would remind the board on item number 9, this one has been before you before. This is the dilapidated gas station across from the Hinton Center that we brought back to you probably in 2019. And to this day, nothing has happened. So once that is accomplished and we put out a bid, get a contractor, then we put a lien on the property for the amount of the demolition bid.
Thank you.
Director Richardson?
Yes, Mayor. Bruce, with respect to that last part about home ownership in certain parts of our community, have we thought about or developed, you or the mayor and Tom, so we can make sure we're legally okay? Right now, there are houses that are on our UV list that we won't do anything about them. In the next couple of years, are going to come before us for demolition. So we figured out a way to have some comprehensive home ownership program revitalization, because a lot of the parts that we're talking about where we have a lot of criminal activity happen to have a high renter occupied home. And I just think that we have too many right now, Bruce. We have too many lists, too many houses on our UV list that if we don't do anything about them in the next year or so, they're gonna be back for us for demolition. And I don't think that lends itself to community building as we talked about earlier.
Well, one of the things the city attorney earlier this year, really gave us another tool to use, which is declaring housing as a public purpose, where now we can put, the board would have to designate an area, very similar to the TNEP program we had 15 years ago, where we designate an area and say, we're going to put city resources into this area for rehab or new construction. So Tom has, or the city attorney has opined that we can do that. And so we are going to develop a very targeted approach. We believe that it should be geared toward ownership and not rental property. And in other words, I don't want to give a rental property owner money to rehab his or her rental property. I think we ought to really focus on ownership. And we were very pleased when Mr. Carpenter came out with that approach, and we'll be moving forward with it.
Thank you, Bruce. And will the targeting be based on the number of UV structures? How are we gonna, because I know we worked at University District Partnership before, and they successfully built some new homes over in that area and done some nice construction work over there. And I think we've complemented that with some infrastructure work. The targeting, and I like that approach. I'm glad Tom opined that, but how will we target parts of our city that doesn't devolve into ward politics, that is clearly based on need?
Well, I think item 4 is a perfect example of that, where we're working with a nonprofit, and we have others across the city that, I mean, it's a very concentrated area. And I believe that's how you really begin to see areas revitalized, is very targeted, is very concentrated. You can do one house on one block, and well, that's great for that block, but if you can do 5 houses, that's even better.
Right.
And so I think our partnership with University District, and you see this on number 4, is a perfect example of how we believe we ought to move forward.
And would you or anyone on your staff know about any brownfield work at the gas station on 12th Street that we just referenced? Either brownfield assessment or cleanup? And obviously that funding would come from the state. That may be a good tool for us to add to our reentry program, because it's not costing us anything. And we're helping train a set of people who are disconnected with a set of job skills and make them employable for that community. At the same time, address that health issue with brownfield in certain parts of our community. So we have a brownfield assessment and brownfield cleanup program where we're targeting those in our reentry program.
And I just don't know if we can apply for a brownfield grant for property we don't own. And so we won't own this property. And we are aware of the gas tanks. I mean, you can see them there. So we're going to have a different approach, obviously, than just a straight bid. But I think we've got to do something with that. And we're putting, almost $1 million more, or really $2 million more into that area. And that's just sat there since Director Hinton, your predecessor, was in office.
I got you. So if I understand you correctly, we couldn't apply for a grant because we don't own that property. Did I hear you correctly?
Usually the property owner has to, but we'll look into it because, yeah.
Thank you.
Director Wright, did you have a question that you pulled down your hand?
I think I'll wait on that.
All right. Seeing other questions from members of the board, this agenda.
Mayor, just one other quick point. Next Tuesday, we're going to be meeting in the Robertson Center Performance Music Hall. Same time at 6 o'clock. There's an event in this room. So we'll get all the details for you, but we'll be in the performance hall next Tuesday.
Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Moore. That being said, this meeting is adjourned.